He was just delivering a package. A small one, neatly wrapped, with my name written carefully by hand. I opened the door in my old house robe, in those thick woolen socks I knitted for myself 10 years ago. He stood there, tall, polite, with those long lashes and eyes that felt oddly familiar. Like I'd seen him before. Maybe in one of those fading dreams that slip away right before you wake up. He said, "Good afternoon, delivery for Nina Petrovna." I didn't mean to be intrusive. But loneliness, it doesn't knock loudly. It creeps in like a shadow, first brushing the corners, and then quietly sitting beside you. So, almost against my own will, I said, "Come in for tea, son. It's cold outside. A little warmth won't hurt." He hesitated. Shrugged. But stepped inside. We didn't talk about anything too deep. No confessions, no soul-bearing. Just tea, with raspberry jam I'd made last summer, as if for someone. He talked about his job. I nodded, listened. And with every passing minute, I felt warmer. Not from the tea, but from the way he looked at me, not as a grandmother, but simply as a woman. His gaze wasn't bold. Just observant. Like he was looking for something in my eyes. I was 67. But I felt 40 again. And, for the first time in years, alive. As if someone accidentally turned the light back on in a room that had long been dark. Let me take a short pause. Share in the comments where you're listening from and if you've ever experienced something similar in your life. I'm genuinely curious. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to, there are many heartfelt moments ahead. Now, I'll continue. Our tea evenings became a quiet little tradition. Once a week, no more, life didn't allow, he would stop by. Sometimes with a package, sometimes with nothing at all. Sometimes he just passed by and lingered. I always had the kettle warm and jam ready. Just in case. I told myself it was just kindness. But the heart knows better than the mind. It waited. There were moments I caught myself choosing a scarf to match the teacups. Silly, isn't it? We started opening up more. He spoke about work, childhood, his thoughts on the world. One day, he said, "I have someone in my life." I nodded. Smiled, politely. "She's young," he added. "Beautiful. I never really know what she's thinking, but that's what makes her exciting." Something inside me clenched. Not out of jealousy, no. Out of a quiet ache I didn't expect. Suddenly, I felt unnecessary. As if he reminded me, this was never meant to be real. I didn't show it. Took another sip of tea. Changed the subject. But he stayed longer than usual. Sat silently, eyes on the window. Then softly said, "It's more peaceful here than anywhere else." And that night, something shifted. Nothing loud, nothing dramatic. Just a room filled with warmth that had been gone for too long. For the first time in years, I didn't feel invisible. Days passed. He didn't come. Then one afternoon, the doorbell. A delivery. But it wasn't him. Later that evening, she arrived. My granddaughter. In her hands, his favorite tea. Eyes, red from crying. "You won't believe this, Grandma," she said. He left. Just like that. No goodbye. And suddenly, everything clicked. He, was my he. I didn't tell her. And what could I have said? That the man she trusted with her heart found peace in quiet moments beside the woman she's called Grandma since childhood? No. I chose silence. It stings, but not as sharply as the truth would. He never came back. No calls. No messages. He vanished, like steam that warms your fingers for a second, then fades into the air. I kept placing a teacup across from mine. Just in case. I didn't open the jam. I didn't want the taste to awaken what I was trying to forget. Sometimes I'd catch myself staring out the window, waiting. Not for him. Just for something. A movement. A sign of life. She came a week later. Tears in her eyes, scarf hanging loosely, voice cracked with pain that can't be faked. He left, Grandma. Just like that. No goodbye. Like nothing ever happened. I nodded. Hard. Nearly spilled the tea from my trembling hands. And only the cat, curled up on the windowsill, opened one eye, as if he understood more than any of us ever could. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe he did too. But how can you blame two lost souls for finding warmth in the wrong place? I'm not asking for forgiveness. And I don't expect to be understood. I just keep going. I drink my tea. Sometimes with jam. Sometimes plain. And every morning, when the kettle hums its first tune of the day, I look at the door. Maybe someone will knock again. Not him. But someone. Someone who brings not a package, but a glance. Or a silence I can breathe in again. Share your thoughts about this story in the comments. Have you ever had a moment in life when someone unexpected appeared and left a quiet mark on your heart? Your comments mean the world to me, they're the heartbeat of this channel. I read each one and truly appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, there are many more unforgettable stories to come. Wishing you a calm, kind day. And if you made it all the way to the end, write in the comments, I still keep the kettle warm, that way I'll know you're here with me, right to the last word.